Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Negative thoughts are one of the most dangerous things to our dreams, our manifestations, anything that you're trying to create. Trying to put all this effort into making something wonderful happen into your life. Maybe you want to meet somebody in particular, maybe a significant person that you'd like to have a relationship with. Maybe there's more money you'd like, a possible job raise, some new outfit. You want somebody to approach you and ask you something. So many of us will have negative thoughts. We'll do all these manifestation techniques. We'll imagine it. We'll see it from the wish fulfilled. We'll see all of these things exactly the way we're supposed to do it. And then when we're done doing the techniques, when we're done focusing our thoughts and our energy, then we start to let our minds just wander. Wander they do. And when you let your mind just wander wherever it does, and if you're not paying attention to what your mind is saying and doing, you'll actually find yourself starting to damage your own manifestations. You'll start to doubt. You'll start to question. We've talked about how you shouldn't talk to people about them for these same kinds of reasons. They'll inspire doubts in your mind. And once that doubt creeps in and you don't do anything about it, it begins to bloom into something that will destroy your manifestation. Now, a lot of people are like, Dan, how do I stop this? Well, first off, you've got to catch yourself doing it. That's one of the most important things when it comes to manifesting, is paying attention to what's going on inside of you. These are the telltales of how you are doing. Now, there could be issues maybe with your sense of self-worth. Sometimes people don't quite love themselves enough. And because of that, they have doubts because they don't think they're worthy of what it is that they're doing. If that's the case, there's a lot of self-love techniques. I think I've done videos on self-love. This is one of those things that you want to spend some time really trying to butter up, really trying to understand. Because here's the thing, folks. If you don't love yourself, who else is gonna? If you don't push yourself, who else is gonna? All of this really is a game of ourselves, and ourselves conquering our own thoughts, our own fears, our own holdups. So that's one of the things, right? If I'm not worthy, you're going to have a very hard time manifesting something that you don't feel you're worthy of. So you need to learn that you're the greatest thing that ever existed, that you're worthy of all that love. You're worthy of all that praise. You're worthy of all of that financial freedom. You're worthy of that. Now, again, there's many ways that we can get into some of our doubts. I think one thing that's also important to keep in mind, and a lot of people kind of make this mistake as well, is they see their manifestation as a final destination, if you will. Like, this is where I'm heading. I'm going to this spot, and then I'm going to manifest X. Like, Bobby's going to be in my life, or Sue's going to be in my life, or I'm going to make $1 million, or I'm going to have a new job, and then that's it. Most people don't think past that point. Well, what's it like to have your wish fulfilled? What's it like to live in that wish fulfilled? Is it just this moment? No. I call it pickup points. All right, there's places where you might stop your car and pick up somebody and then continue down your journey. Our journey is never over, never. So whether you want to meet Bobby or be with Sue, that's great. So that's your manifestation in your mind, but in reality, your manifestation is actually spending time with Bobby, spending time with Sue. The meeting part and the starting of the relationship is not the final. It's not the finale. You've got further to go. So when we look at it and feel about it from that perspective, I think it also plays huge in trying to help our doubts, because we realize we're manifesting something further out than just this thing that hasn't happened yet. And that's one of the other giant keys. We're trying to manifest something because it's not currently in our lives. Now, I know a lot of people say you got to believe that it exists already, but that's not a game. What that really is you believe it exists, you continue to push towards it, you continue to condition your mind that this is what I'm creating in my life, and then you kind of pay attention to what happens, and you move about your day on a regular basis, and you will get to that point. I think a lot of people expect things to happen immediately, and yes, they can. Most of the time, they don't. Most of the time they play out, and there's some lessons to be learned. There's some things that we need to step up our game, if you will. There's places where we need to pay attention to what we're thinking and saying and doing, or maybe we're not being really kind to this person, this significant person that we'd like to be with. Like, we need to pay attention to that bigger picture. And we need to appreciate this process. So continue to think about where you're heading. Continue to realize that this manifestation that you're working on right now is just a pickup point. What happens after that? What happens next? Try to focus on those things as well. And finally, negative thoughts or doubts. Negative thoughts are typically because you're so very focused on the moment. And the moment, yes, is where manifestations will occur, but really, the moment isn't really where the techniques occur and isn't really where the creative part of manifesting occurs. It is in the moment, and it's your right now, but it's you focusing your right now on imagining, on feeling as though you have what it is you desire, that you are heading in that direction, and you don't accept any other thing than this is what I'm going to accomplish. Either you don't believe manifesting techniques work, then I would suggest you start small and work your way up, because you'll find they do work. I've frequently talked about the beach ball. You imagine that beach ball in your hand. You imagine the feel of it. You imagine the smell of it. You imagine the colors. You imagine that whole thing in your possession. And you're going to see a beach ball show up in your life in the very, very near future. And you continue to do things like that. You can play with traffic signals. You can play with trying to get people to show up in your life. Maybe you work at a specific place, and maybe there's someone you haven't seen for a couple days. Imagine them walking in the door and watch what happens. And you'll start to realize how much impact your thoughts, mind, and words and deeds actually are, how creative these processes are. And so because of that, you won't, one, doubt. It sucks a lot of the doubt out when you realize this works. So then the next thing would be, once you've gotten your doubt problem taken care of and you realize that manifesting works, well, then it's an issue of, so it hasn't happened yet. That's fine. This is going to happen. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep doing whatever I need to do to make this reality happen. I accept nothing less than the reality I'm trying to manifest, whatever it is. So just because right now at this moment you maybe don't see the success, so you're going to see that success right before you actually manifest the thing you're manifesting, right? Right before your next stopping point. And again, and then what? Imagine past that moment. Imagine once you have what it is that you seek. You see, the negative thoughts will creep in, but that is the key that we all have to move through. That is the key ingredient to successful manifestation, is working through that doubt, working through those negative thoughts. You can't deflect negative thoughts as much as you can see it, hear it, and then replace it with a positive thought. And realize, wow, I keep sabotaging myself. Awesome. And even what I just said is not good. You would flip that around and be like, wow, I'm starting to catch myself where I'm not doing what I'd like, where I need to improve my thinking, where I need to improve my manifestations. And again, you always want to phrase it in the positive, which, as you've just seen for me, sometimes not always is easy, but you don't give up. You keep working on the phrasing until you get a positive statement that pushes you back in the direction that you're planning on going. Don't take anything less, and certainly don't add things like not or don't. A lot of people make this other mistake, and this will be the final one, that we try to take a negative and make it positive. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to not see him. I don't want him to be mad at me. And that's not how you manifest. You're going to actually manifest the opposite when you do that. What you want to focus on is, I hope he feels better about me right now. I look forward to this raise that I'm getting. I look forward to my boss seeing all these great things about me. I look forward to this new life. It's a positive direction. When you work all of these things together, and most importantly, pay attention to what you're doing inside your own self, you will see successes. You will see things change. You will almost immediately begin to see those signs and indications that your manifestation is creeping closer. So just because it doesn't look good right now doesn't matter. Your destination, you hop on a car and you drive 1,000 miles. 25 miles into that trip, it doesn't look like your destination, does it? No, and it's not gonna. It's not gonna look like your destination until you stop at that pickup point and then pick up whatever it is you're doing and continue on. So if you've got a journey of 1,000 miles and you're wondering why I'm not there already at 25 miles, you need to understand you've got further to go. And understand that you're on the path. Understand that you're in the process right now of making this happen. Is it here yet? Apparently not. Doesn't matter. Is it gonna be here? Absolutely. And you continue to hold that vision. You continue to hold that drive. You continue to hold that focus. And it will take you to the pickup point where you can have what it is you seek. You've got all this within you. You've got the power. Stand strong. Believe in yourself. Love yourself. You got this. Dan RadioStyle.